Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of Kingdoms. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'm having a fantastic day. We're starting off in a creative world because I want to talk very briefly about why I did the giant repeater clock. Because a lot of people said, you should have used a hopper clock, or you should have used a comparator clock, or you should have used an insert name of clock here. The thing that makes this particular solution the best one, in my opinion, is that I need outputs at uneven intervals throughout the clock, right? So if we activate this, you can see the redstone signal going around slowly but surely around this whole thing. Now, if the only time I needed an input, or an output, I should say, was like right here, right? And I wanted to power that redstone lamp at a regular interval, or in this case, fire the dispensers, then I could have totally used a hopper clock or any other type of clock that had a long period of time between pulses. The thing is, I wanted it at uneven intervals. So there's two separate outputs. Imagine, if you will, there's one like here, and we'll say one like right here, right? So So instead, we'll just kind of bring these guys out like so. So instead, it's going to power these with a slow delay in between, and then a long delay, or with a short delay, and then a long delay, and then a short delay, and then a long delay, and then a short delay, and then a long delay, and so on and so forth. So that's why I went with the repeater clock, because the problem with most clocks is that they are at a consistent interval, unless you want it random, which I also did not want. So basically, it's like an uneven interval clock. And that's why I did the giant repeater chain. I talked with Dembon, I talked with Cub. Cub said, you could probably do it using a falling something circuit, or a dual edge detector, I think is what he called it, and a bunch of other stuff. And we talked about what the best solution was, and he said, you know what, you're honestly, for what you're trying to do, you're best just using repeaters. If it weren't for this, if it weren't for the fact that I needed an uneven interval between the two, totally could have used a different clock. And there are probably other ways to do it, but this is the way I decided to go with. Just wanted to make it clear, uneven interval. That's why I can't use a hopper clock or a comparator clock or any other number of things. Also, you got to remember, dispensers fire when they get a pulse. So it's not like some redstone things like pistons, where when they're receiving a signal, they're in one mode, and when they're not receiving a signal, they're in a different one. With the dispenser, they need to get a signal to dispense the water, and they need to get a signal to retract the water. So that's the other thing to kind of bear in mind as well. If you can come up with a far more compact circuit that does what I want, which is 5 seconds with the water retracted, and then 10 seconds with the water extended, and doing that repeating on that uneven interval, by all means, do so and send it to me on Twitter. I'd love to see it. But this is the best solution I came up with. So anyway, let's hop over into the actual Kingdoms world now, right here. And let's just kind of take a look. I did a little bit of work between episodes. I organized all of my stuff. It was driving me mad. But now I can't fly. Mostly because of the squid farm, I think. But I organized all my stuff. So these chests are still over here, but those random shulker boxes aren't. This chest has been cleaned out completely. That one was super disorganized. It was kind of just like a random chest. I moved all of the comments of the day over to the library in Regnum where they belong. And yeah, it's going well. So what I want to do today is I want to decorate the squid farm. And there's going to be a couple sections to this. We need to decorate the actual squid farm itself. So that's a thing. And honestly, I should probably just turn this off. Yeah, let's wait for it to fire real quick. It's gonna take a little while to go around. There we go. All right, so water is retracting, and then let's just break this one bit of redstone. And there we go. That way the water is permanently retracted, and I can activate it again very easily. But that way, while I'm building, I'm not going to be dealing with stuff. And look at this. We've already got almost 3 stacks of squid ink. That's fantastic. So I think what I want to do, I want to replace, let's just kind of get down here a little bit. I think I want to replace all the walls in here with the polished diorite, this like light stone brick, which is a change in my texture pack. So I want to do that, and then I think we want to build some sort of a little bit of a structure on top of it. I think it would be really cool if you kind of like look down from there, and there was like a little sort of industrial type structure down here. We'll probably use the prismarine for the roof, I'm thinking, but I think it's going to be more of like like an open air, but with a covered roof. Like a gazebo, but not a round gazebo. I don't know. A shed? A thing? I don't know how to describe it, but I have an image in my head and it looks pretty cool. And then we'll also have to go through all of this area where the river used to be and terraform that pretty significantly so that it doesn't look bad. I'm thinking a lot of stone, a lot of gravel, a lot of cobblestone, make it look kind of like a dried up riverbed or like almost like a canyon. So I think that's kind of what I'm going to go for, but I've got a lot of work to do here. So let me kind of start getting the walls in place inside the farm, start replacing those. Oh, we also need to come up with a better collection system. And actually, I think it would be really cool. This farm is also going to be generating a lot of salmon. Because they'll be spawning in the water as well. I think it'd be cool if we could take those salmon and automatically export them to a smelting system of some sort. Some sort of like, I don't think I'm going to go like a full-on super smelter, but some sort of like automatic smelting thing I think would be really good if we can do that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to work on for a while, guys. I'll be back with you when I have a progress update for you. Until then, let me get to work. All right, guys, I am back. I've been doing some work. We've got the diorite walls going all the way down to the bottom there, which I think looks pretty good. And I've kind of built up an outer area here. And what I'm envisioning for this is something... You know what? Actually, it'd probably be easier to do this part first. So I'm kind of envisioning like a little bit of like a viewing window kind of going down the middle here. What was that, inset 2? Yeah, that's inset like 2. Maybe we even want to go like 3. I'm kind of thinking like 3. How's that going to be for size? We go like white stained glass like this, just directly above these redstone components. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good size. So here's what I'm thinking, right? So we're going to take oak like this, and we'll kind of go around, and then we'll wrap this with stairs. So the actual spot that you would stand on and where the workers would like work and stuff like that would be on this oak. That's like the actual floor. But then there's like a little viewing area where they can kind of look inside, or where you, the player, can look inside and just make sure that the farm is functioning, you know, see it in action, etc., etc. Because I do think it's cool to be able to kind of see those farms in action. You know, I generally like to hide the redstone wiring of various things that I build that are technical in nature, but I think it's cool to see the farm in action, and really the only way that we're able to do that with this particular farm is from above. So that's kind of the plan here. We're just gonna sort of make like a little bit of an outline using these oak stairs, and then we just gotta fill in all of the rest of this with oak planks, and then it should be good to go. And I think I can probably hide a couple torches back there as well. because I don't think there are any spawnable areas except for on top of these dispensers. Because the rest is either glass or redstone. And redstone dust, also redstone components like comparators, stuff like that, not spawnable. But I believe dispensers are. And of course, I have no torches. Oh, well. Well, I'll get to that. But we've got kind of this little viewing area now where you can look down and see the farm in action. I redid the redstone a little bit so that it could fit through a 1-block gap. I basically just pushed it back a block, so that wasn't a big deal. But then what I'm thinking for this top part is we'll have maybe a couple of like fences coming up, like right where I'm standing. And then we'll have kind of a roof that's sort of like, sort of like this sort of a shape. Something, kind of a gradual, like, arch. A slight arch, I think. And it'll kind of wrap over the whole thing. I think it'll look good. And then we'll be able to kind of terraform these sides and bring the landscape up to the farm to make it look, you know, like it fits here. Like it's kind of nestled into this little area. We also still need to figure out the item collection system and all that kind of stuff. But progress is being made. We're getting there. All right, guys, I am back. I've got all that stuff down there done, and I think it looks pretty good. I'm working on the roof of the structure now, and I think I want to do just a little bit of this together. I've got some slabs here. Let's kind of show how we're doing this. So basically, if we pop up here, we're putting a stone block on top of this little pillar, and then another stone block, and then we're gonna go slabs on the top half of this block like so, and then up again like that. So boop, 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 and boop, 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 right? And then we're basically just putting prismarine slabs on the bottom half of that little, like, support beam structure thing that we just made, right? So, boop, 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 boop. Just like so. Nice and simple. And then we're going to go to the underside, and we're going to fill in these lower sections like so that there's a little bit of depth when you're down here as well. And I think that'll end up looking really good once we get the rest of the roof in place. Now, I think what I want to do is get the roof done probably to right here, and then the item collection system I think will probably end up being over there a little bit. So let's kind of just do this little bit of the roof together since we're only doing this one little section. There we go. Boop, boop, boop. Nice and simple. Just a very relatively gradual kind of sloping rounded roof. Okay, so now we're on top of these pillars again. So we want to go full block. Slab, we can pop down here to do that one. And then right here, we go up a half slab, up a half block, and then basically just the same thing. Ooh, not you. Just the same thing on the other side. And there we go. And then it's just a matter of filling in the underneath bits. So that's all there is to it. It's not a complicated roof by any stretch of the imagination. Gets the job done. Looks pretty solid, I think. We'll just we've got these two support beams. We could maybe even, how would it look if we just left it open? That's kind of an interesting look, actually. Well, I'll have to think about that. But I want to get this. I want to get this bit done as well. Where the item collection is going to go. I think at this point I can get rid of my beacon. I don't think this needs to be here anymore. But either way, it's definitely got to move. So I think I'm going to get that torn away, and then we'll start working on our item collection system. Okay, so I've been doing a bit more work. I decided to put this roof section in because although our item elevator comes out right here, I don't think it's going to be possible to fit the the item filters and all the stuff that I want to fit. I don't think it's going to be possible to fit that here in this spot and still have this building look good. With the way that it's currently designed anyway. I'd have to basically tear down the entire roof to accommodate for this little section, and I think what would be a better idea, and kind of a cool idea as well, is to take the item stream, bring it underground over this way, have it pop out like somewhere in here or so, and then over on this area, like in this cave, essentially, would be where the squid ink gets collected, and then also I'm going to put some furnaces in. I think I'll probably do like 4 furnaces. Nothing major, just a little something, just a small auto smelter, basically, so that the salmon gets cooked automatically. So we'll collect the salmon and the ink over here. I'm going to have to dig the water stream. I want to hide it underground, as I said, but we'll have it pop up like somewhere over in here. And then that'll give me plenty of space to put in like the item filters and the automated smelting system and all that kind of stuff. And then we can kind of decorate this cave a little bit as well and make it look like it's been, repurposed. So I think that'll be cool. All right, guys, I am back. I've got everything in place. We got our little super smelter here. Nothing fancy. I'll put fuel of some sort into here, and that'll power the smelters. Probably just coal for now. And then it'll all output to a chest right here. The other thing that I have is this guy, and this is where all the squid ink collect. Back here, I have an item filter for that, and then an item filter for this. So basically, we've got a big hopper belt here that kind of comes along. If it's a salmon, it'll get sucked into the furnaces. If it's not a salmon, it'll keep going. And then if it's an ink sack, it'll get sucked into here and deposited into one of these 3 double chests. As overflow protection, in case all of the hoppers are full or all of the furnaces are full or whatever, kind of hard to get to, but I have there we go, a dropper wired up to an automatic clock over here. So anything that doesn't get sucked up into either the chests or the furnaces, anything that makes it all the way through the hopper belt, will ultimately end up in the dropper, which will then just spit it into lava, and it will be destroyed. And that way I don't have to worry about any, just overflow protection in case something goes horribly wrong. Or in case the farm fills up. Because realistically, I'm never going to need more than a double chest of cooked salmon, ever, at once. And, 3 full double chests of ink should be plenty, so that should be good. So now what I need to do is kind of clean this area up and make it look good. We need to kind of tackle this cave and integrate this stuff into the design so we don't just have all this stuff kind of exposed here, but there's the redstone guts of it. And then I think I also kind of want to get started on these little bits over here as well. Start replacing some of this with stone, cobblestone, gravel, etc. But for now, the farm is up and running, and I mean, we are getting squid ink. I mean, we had basically 4 stacks, and just in this 2 minutes that I've been talking to you, we've gotten almost another half a stack of squid ink right there. So yeah, it's working, and it's working pretty well, I must say. But anyway, let me get to kind of trying to design this and making this look a bit better. Alrighty, guys, I am back, and I think I am done working on the squid farm area for now. So the front over here is all cleaned up and looking pretty good. We've got kind of this like natural cave sort of feel over here. I quite like it. I think it turned out really well. And then I also went ahead and started working on some of the landscaping. over here. You can kind of get a decent look at it. So I think this is kind of that like gully or creek bed, dried up creek bed, something like that, that I was kind of talking about earlier. Something like this look. And I think if we take this and kind of do it all the way along this riverbed that wraps around Nembonia, I think it'll be really, really good. Also, before I forget, a lot of people have asked, why is this place named Nembonia? Why is it named? It is named after Nembon MC, who is another YouTuber, friend of mine, and someone who's very, very good at the technical side of Minecraft. And this kingdom is named Nembonia because he actually saved kingdoms. When I was playing in the snapshots for 1.13, I ran into some very big technical issues, and I was actually worried that I was going to have to essentially scrap the world and restart the whole world, but he was able to fix I had like some corrupted chunks or something like that. It's a super like layman's definition of the problem, but basically he was able to fix it. So this kingdom is named Nembonia, but it's actually spelled like that instead of with the G. I think that spelling with just the M, I think that's a fairly fantasy-esque name anyway. Also, I have finally gotten around to adding all the new people to our new Hall of Patrons. This is like 3 months worth of patrons because, well, Kingdoms went on a break for like a month, and then I ran out of space where I was putting the old heads, so I had to build this first, and yeah, I kind of let it get away from me. But let's induct all of these wonderful new people who support me on Patreon. We got Wesley Allison, Brian Jones, Lugia 2000, Art Stamnus, Saranex, Art by Christensen, Hydronova, Michael Spicer, Graveman 146, Ryan Aarons, Mito, or maybe it's Meadow. If I'm going to butcher some of these names, I'm warning you in advance. Matthew Pearson, Dauntless Gaming, Devin Myers, Manuel Fesantos, Martino Santos, Darkblade 5739, Res Pindas for Life, Alec James Nyber, Lyle Holdman, Tyler Hammond, Drake Coeth, Kenneth Steelman, Mr. Builder 16, Scott Joseph Mather, Thijman Dreef, Onik 1, Matthew LaHaye, Luna Day Arcadia, Connor B. Haggerty, Lee Cooper, Raven Harris, Peter Helma, Northcraft, Naptime Shadows, Shauna Stern, Dylan Fleury, Tim John, Richard Smith, Cat Knight. I love names like this. Cat Knight. See, I can't mess those up. Nice and short. Kevin Keblish, North of Reality, Ayer, Bradley Joseph Killick, Hugo Johansson, Anders Marius Hove, Mr. Legeroth, Stuart Ord, Thomas Warespan, Richard Pope Jr., Matthew Lichtenwalter, Perks, and Michael Christian Olson. All of you guys, thank you so much for the support on Patreon. It really does make a difference. I try really hard not to like plug my Patreon often because it just doesn't always feel right. But Patreon really does make a difference. Earlier this year, my channel was kind of in, I don't want to say in a bad spot, but it was definitely, if it weren't for Patreon, I would have been struggling to pay my bills. So, yeah, those of you who support me on Patreon, it really does mean the world to me, and I appreciate it. If you are a Patreon supporter and your name, and you were added between the months of April and July, so April, May, or actually this is 4 months of Patreon. Yeah, this is 4 months of Patreon. April, May, June, or July. If your name was added in those 4 months and you're not in here, or if you're player head, there's spawnable areas in here? Excuse me? I thought we lit this up properly. Okay. But anyway, if you did pledge on Patreon between April, May, June, or July, and either your name is on a sign in here, but your player head isn't, or if your name is not here at all, send me a message on Patreon so I can get it fixed. I may have missed a couple people, but I went through all the messages that I could find, and I was missing a lot of Minecraft usernames, and also it's certainly possible I overlooked someone as well. So send me a message on Patreon. You just stay in there, Creeper. Yeah, there's definitely spawnable areas in there somewhere. Maybe they're spawning on top of the shelves. That would actually make sense. Anyway, guys, unfortunately, I am almost out of time for this episode. I do want to answer one quick comment or question of the day, though. And that is, are you still going to do Nature's Beauty? This is from William Sijna? Sina? However that's pronounced. It's from William. And this is also a question that I've been getting a lot, especially since Kingdom started back up again. And the answer is, I don't know yet. I haven't really decided. Like, part of me says no because it's been so long, and I'm honestly not really feeling inspired to pick up Nature's Beauty again. But at the same time, like, Nature's Beauty was a mod pack that I made custom and that I worked on for a super long time, and, like, I just don't know. I haven't really decided yet, so until I decide, the answer is maybe. When I do decide one way or another whether I am or am not going to continue it, I will let you guys know once I actually reach a decision. But for now, I just kind of want to focus on Kingdoms and Hermitcraft because that's what I'm feeling inspired to do, and that's what I'm really enjoying right now. So the answer to this question is, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, guys, I'm out of time for this one. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.